Okay guys, back for another cast on the Sorcerer. So, in the previous video, I had become level 38 and I had accumulated 132 million experience. And after that, I made 15 runs, I made 14, but this run included that I'm about to make, it's plus 15 runs. So totally, I've made 40, including this run, nightmare runs when it's over. And I'm currently I've risen from 15 runs, I've risen from level 38 and 132 million to level 40 and 207 million experience. And what new items did I get? Well, I got a single one to equip. I can show that right away. So the previous ring I had was, I think it was plus 54 mana total. And this beauty dropped instead, and even though it's only plus 48 mana, you could say, then it's also plus 13 to all attributes. 13 to all attributes for Sorcerer is times 2 in mana. That means that this ring is actually 48 plus 26 mana points, meaning a total of 74 mana. And like I said, the previous was 54, so plus 20 mana total, that's it. The item dropped from, I think it was some random mob on level 15. It's almost always level 15 or 16 that I get my drops, but I do full clears. I mean level 13, 14, 15 and 16. Just for the experience gain. Besides that, I think in the last episode I had a single spell, elemental, that wasn't capped, but as you can see now, all my spells are capped. 16 is capped for me at the moment due to wearing my chest plate that will raise my spell levels by 1. So normally the spell cap is 15, but as you can see now it's 16. So I don't really have to visit the witch anymore besides for buying new mana pots. She has no further use for me anymore. I'm just how the game is really. So how long am I gonna stay on Nightmare? Whoa! As long as the experience is good, and in one of the previous episodes, I don't remember if it was the last one, I figured out that. I figured it out a long time ago, but I posted it in the last video that the experience gained is my level times 200 experience. So currently, if a mob can drop me 8,000 experience, 40 times 200, then I cannot get any more experience. It doesn't matter if I'm on Nightmare or Hell. It's sort of capped how much you can gain. But as you can see, as you rise in level, you will also rise in the experience. Both the experience needed for the next level, but also you could say the experience that you accumulate, because you always get like 200 extra per per kill. So one other thing I just realized, and I'm just gonna write it up here because otherwise I'll forget it, is that what I wanted to show you is that when you get a level, you will also get a couple of extra stats. So my current life is 142, as you can see here, my hit points. Not that it matters that much, but it's just to show you how much you gain when you actually get a level. And from the experience here, I can see that from 207 million to 210.7, you could say, million, or let's just say from 207 to 210, then I'll get level on this run, so I'll become level 41. And I will get sort of when that happens, you will get a bonus life and bonus mana. So I'm just writing it up. And that's about it. You don't get additional armor to hit or damage. Actually, I think you get physical damage as well. I'm just going to test that. I haven't done that so far. It's not that important for Sorcerer, you could say. But I'm pretty sure that all the classes you get a bonus physical damage with the same gear equipped. I mean, that I have now, and when I get a level. But what's more important for Sorcerer is that if your spell damage will usually rise. And we can do a test here with my two workhorses, which are Fireball. I'm just going to write it up. It's 532 damage to 767 at the moment. And Chain Lightning, my other workhorse, is, let's see, 4 to 84. There we go. So, let's get on with it then. Some action. Yeah, nothing further to say really. I'm just gonna... I got my usual 4 workhorses, meaning my 4 hotkeys here. Fireball, Chain Lightning, Stone Curse, and Teleport. And then, before I go down, I have my Mana Shield at the ready. That's about it. So, full clear as usual. That's my goal anyway. And yeah, I talked about it in the last video as well, I remember, is that eventually gold will be a very limited use. So I hardly care to pick it up anymore. I maybe have a few golds. Just for, yeah, buying mana and... Big pack down here. So the Chain Lightning spell isn't working that well right now, because there's like mobs 360 degrees around me. Fortunately, none of the mobs here run like Fireball all that much. So it's all barbecued mobs here. So what I could show you is that how much experience I am actually gonna get here. At level 13 I'll have usually the lowest tier mobs. And if we can catch one of them, I'll probably get can imagine a little less than 8,000 experience, which was the sort of experience code, you could say. There we go. So I'm just gonna see this guy. You would usually could what we call a maelstrom. You would usually be well, you would find him in the area below in caves. So he's sort of the lower tier mob, or one of the lowest tier mob you can find here, and he might not give me 8,000 experience, but probably pretty close to. I'm just gonna Stone Curse him one more time, and then if we look at the last 5 digits here, it's 58,250. If I was to get 40 times 200 experience, that would be 8,000 on top, meaning that this number should change to 66,250. And as you can see, it became 65,700, so it's about 500 experience less. I get 7,500 instead of 8,000 experience, but that's one of the absolute lowest tier mobs that I can experience here from level 13 to 16. So it's still good experience, and when exactly am I gonna shift to hell? I'm not quite sure. When I feel the experience is becoming too low, it's not that I'm sort of spooked about sort of moving to hell. It's significantly more difficult because of my playstyle, understood as I'm gonna go full glass cannon, meaning low armor class and as much higher mana pool and damage as possible. But I think back in the day, many sorcerers would probably go a little armor class as well, meaning sacrificing both mana and spell damage. But then again, most of the sorcerers back then, they would have some sort of a copy of, especially their chest piece would be different than the one I'm wearing at the moment. It would be some kind of dupe, and that dupe is a long story in itself. But you could sort of, by cheating, well, they did remove it from the game, and then to be honest, I never ever duped an item myself, but it was possible to sort of duplicate an item, aka dupe. It was about that if you picked up an item and dropped it at the same time, I don't even know if it works in this patch or not. And like I said, I've never done it before, but the thing was that you would drop an item, and then at the same time as it dropped, you would pick up an item on the floor. And then somehow, due to a bug in the game, you would then have the item that you dropped on the floor, let's say the breastplate, and then you would have another breastplate in the at your cursor. So you would sort of duplicate the item due to a bug. And you could say when they don't fix it and they are well aware of it, you could argue if it's really a bug or not, or if it's sort of, well, it's a bug, but if it's illegal or not. But yeah, I'm never gonna be the owner of that powerful a blade. I don't even think it can exist really. The sort of, well, it was like the blade for all characters really. Godly blade of the whale, and it's simply because I've never seen it drop. I mean, an item with those stats in all the time that I've played. I think I may have seen maybe Godly or, and I'm not even sure about that. I may have seen Godly or whale. I don't even recall, to be honest, if I've ever seen that drop. But you can buy it on rarely by Word the Peg-Legged Boy. And I actually on one of my mules currently. If you saw the last episode, you'll see that that I made 2 mules, a so-called magic mule and a mule, and I actually sort of bought a godly, I think it's a godly crown of the whale, not with perfect stats, because with both godly and whale can sort of vary. And by vary, I mean just like, let's say, pretty much all my even my unique items. I got 2 equipped at the moment. They can vary in stats. Not this one, it's always fixed, but the armor itself, it's 42 if you look down below here. It can go up to 50, so it can have sort of a perfect status as well. This is not, because it's only armor class 42 instead of 50. But Dragon, for instance, that prefix, it's a prefix. Dragon can go from, I think it's 51 to 60 mana, and this one happened to be 59. But a godly plate of the whale, for instance, or godly helm of the whale would be plus 200% armor of its base armor, and then up to, I think it's 200 hit points. And the reason why Word the Peg-Legged Boy, he can't have that item, is sort of, he's not able to generate anything that cost over a certain amount, and the sort of, you could say, the code for him to generate such an item would be, I think it's impossible really. Due to the fact that you can, there's a limit to how much money I can actually carry around. Simply due to the number of slots that are in my bag. So I got, let's count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got 10 slots times 4. That means 40 slots times 5,000 gold. That's a total of 200,000 gold. If you want to buy a plate, you have to have room for it in your inventory. So you can sort of deduct 6 slots. That's what it takes to move a plate. As you can see, I got room for it. That means that I can maximum, if I want to buy something that is 6 slots in my inventory from a vendor, I would have to bring 170,000 gold, and 170,000 gold is not enough for Word to make a it's always interesting to get a ringer or an amulet from a boss. He's fairly low tier, so it's not that great. But had it been a ring from Lazarus or one of his witch bodyguards, the guy on level 15, it could be a very interesting piece of gear. But yeah, I think it can drop drop another ring. I think it can drop Godly and Whale, but I've seen it so few. I think I've seen it, not in when I've started playing this time around, but when I used to play back in the day, I think I've seen it drop. I might be wrong, so I'm not going to be 100% on this one. I'm just looking for the ring that dropped. And in order to do that, I'm sort of removing... Oh, I think it was here. I'm removing some of the golden items that are on the ground, so it's there. Fairly tough to see. Just gonna put it here. What's more interesting is this ring is dropped from the sort of mini-boss, one of the Maelstrom mini-bosses. But then again, I don't think he's high enough tier to drop some really good stuff. There was an Elixir Vitality. Even that isn't interesting for me because I'm capped in all stats, so I wouldn't get anything out of drinking it. Just gonna... yeah. Get away from it. So that's why you shouldn't do stuff like that. It can be pretty suicidal, as you can see. I actually thought I had the room cleared. It looked so when I looked at sort of the frames, but I didn't. So yeah, even though it's Nightmare, I don't want to pull that many as sort of in one big chunk. And I think for Sorcerer, that doesn't go for Warrior, definitely not for Warrior. But for Sorcerer, worst kind of mobs, especially with the build that I'm making, where you are sort of a glass cannon, is melee mobs. They are by far the worst, because they will sort of stun you if there's too many of them are sort of, yeah, kicking on you or hitting you. But as you probably noticed here, my damage is pretty crazy because, yeah, spells are capped and I'm sort of ready. It's not the damage I'm missing in order to continue to heal. It's more like, I mean, when I'm level 40, almost 41, it's like, okay, you've done most of the levels, level 50 is capped. But the actual amount of experience that I need, like, I can imagine at 200 million, I'm around up my 10% of my total experience that I need in order to reach level 50. So it's not like when I'm actually doing Nightmare, it's just going to be a few runs and then it's over. It's on the contrary. I'm going to need a ton of runs in order to become level 50. So I might as well stay here while it's still decent experience, and it seems like the items are, yeah, I think they're surprisingly good, and I don't even know for sure that the items that drop from Hell are sort of better. It's much the same items that I'm after. I'm after best in slot, of course, primarily. So the best prefix and suffix have dropped so far. Dragon is one of them. Drake is just below Dragon, prefix stat. This one has from Drake can go where Dragon can go from 51 to 60, then Drake can go from 41 to 41 to 50. So it's just below. And of the heavens, it's the second highest here as well. The highest would be of the Zodiac, so that is 20, up to 20 to all, from 15 to 20 to all attributes. But this item might as well drop on Hell difficulty, really. But what I'm gonna do, I think, is when I'm done here on Nightmare, I'm gonna show you what I have sort of accumulated on my 2 mules, and then we can sort of, or I can sort of make 2 new mules, and then I can sort of compare the quality of the items. That might be a good idea. And the reason why I made actually a mule and a magic mule is because I'd like to... the magic mule will be anything that has something to do with mana or magic. And that has to do with that eventually if I want to make a warrior or a rogue, it's a major advantage for those characters to be able to have some kind of high level spells as well. In order to read sort of high level books, that's up to a cap of 200, and I can't show it now because I'm capped in spells, but eventually, let's say a fireball level, probably a fireball level 12 or something like that instead of the cap at 16 now, but it's actually the same if it's say around level 12 up to level 16. You will need 255 magic in order to read that book. For Sorcerer, it's really easy to get up there because the base is 250, but for Warrior it might be 100, and then all of a sudden you got a way to go in order to go from 100 magic, which is capped, to 250. So what you can do is you can get as many items, all the items you can equip. If you try and have a mule where you have sort of collected items that give you maximum possible magic stats, then eventually you can get close to 255, not all the way, but close to, and then you'll be able to read some more books. But I'll take it when I get there. But that's why I made 2 mules. So one mule with anything that has something to do with magic or mana points, for that matter as well. And then I have the other mule for everything else. I'm just gonna take a sip of coffee, guys. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning. Here we go. Okay. So, like I stated, Nightmare Run level, or not level, but number 40. So ring dropped again. It's right there. Easy pickings. And I could test a mob too. I can imagine that these mobs here, there's one here we can test it right away. He will give me 8,000. So my last 5 digits here are 98,522. If I get this guy, those numbers should change to 106,522. So the last digits would be 06522. And as you can see, 06, not 522, but 307. So I got maybe like 7,800 in that neighborhood. So almost cap. And I can assure you that at the last 2 levels, it's definitely 8,000 per mob. We could test sort of the succubus as well. So the splash damage from the fireballs will usually kill both of them. I'm just gonna lure one out. Splash damage is still nuking those. Yeah, bingo. So, let's see how much he gives. So last 5 digits, 17,306. If I kill her, it should be 25,306. And that's exactly what it is. So the succubus, the caster step, they give me full experience, but the other guys, almost the Black Knights. The Black Knights here, by the way, I think they are the lowest tier of these sort of kind of knights. Where the highest, another ring or amulet, where the highest tier of these guys are the Blood Knights. It's the ones that are always on level 16 by Diablo. They can sometimes be elsewhere. So, lots of jewelry accumulated so far. As the jewelry is accumulated from sort of low tier mobs, mainly, I don't expect to have any good stats, but you can be surprised from time to time. And by the way, you could argue that it would be smarter to just rush down to level 15 and 16 instead of sort of doing full clears here where the mobs are fairly lower. But as this is my, I think it was run number 40 on Nightmare Run, I just like to keep track on how many runs I'm actually doing here on Nightmare before I move on. So that's one of the reasons I'm doing full clears, because the items, like I said, it's 95% or something like it so far that I'm using is dropped on level 15 or 16. Murky Pool is the ability that gives you a chance to see mobs sort of in the distance or on the other side of walls, for instance. Like down here. It's the same as using a scroll of infravision, which I used to do in the beginning when my character was pretty weak. Here on Nightmare, or elsewhere for that matter. I think they can drop, I don't know if they can drop on level 1 on sort of normal, and it's not a drop you get a lot, but I don't really think there's any level requirements on them. I think it's one of the spells that Blizzard back then chose not to make permanent, simply because it would be too powerful if you always can see the mobs way before they can see you. So I think they actually made room for a spell like that. Maybe a level 2 spell, or it could be a level 4 spell, for that matter. It's like there is room here on category 2 spells up here. And on the 4th as well. I don't think all the spells can sort of be filled out, but at least the one here on level 2 spells is kind of obvious that there's a spell missing, which could be the same as what I got from the Murky Pool. I'm just gonna check if I made a full clear. So there's a little bit missing down here, but I don't think there was anything else. So I'm just gonna, go further down. There we go. Mana shield always at the ready. And I can imagine I'm getting pretty close to level, and I am. We are talking about 1 million, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get level here on level 15 here. Right here and now. So yeah, these guys are rather annoying. I think on hell difficulty they are immune to all sort of magic damage. And on Nightmare here they are immune to fire. They do, however, they are able to drop some pretty good loot. They are about as high tier mob as you can get, I think. What else we have? Doomguard. Sort of a mid-tier, one of these knight guys. So I'm pure on this level. Besides Lazarus Layer, I'm pure chain lightning. That means I'd like to have all my chain lightning sort of going in the same direction. And that's how I'm trying to clear the level 15 here. So I just cleared the neighboring room, the one in here. That means that there can only be mobs sort of north of me at the moment. Until I reach the next quadrant. It's always like 4 quadrants here on level 15. That means that you can see all my lightnings are traveling north. But like I said, the soul burners here, they are top tier of these sort of witches that cast spells at you. And that's why usually even an axe like this, which could never be best in slot because its base damage is low, 6 to 16. Compared to the biggest axe, it's 12 to 30, I think, damage. But for a warrior, it could never be beast because the base damage is too low. But because it's dropped from a soul burner, I pick it up just to see the stats, what it can actually drop from a top tier mob. Sort of hurting all the mobs in this to my right, make them going away from me, the casters here, so that they get the full lightning doses. There we go. Anything interesting? It was kind of noisy, maybe not. And what you could do, instead of using a lot of mana, by killing one mob, you could sort of try and hurt a few more. They're usually clever enough to, as long as I'm walking, they're gonna keep following me. A lot of the lightnings will try to sort of travel into Lazarus. And all the minions that are in there. Just gonna see if I got all the stragglers, one missing here. Alright, I got room for all the stuff that can drop in by Lazarus, so I'm just gonna engage. And that's all fireball. So, what dropped from... Can't really see what dropped from... Dropped the plate mail, okay. And that's staff, okay, so pretty crappy loot. Let's hope Lazarus dropped something better. Yada 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 yada. And
your madness ends here, betrayer.
Yeah. So, not that interesting loot really, and the plate is indestructible. That means it will be 100% be crap, because it would never be that interesting a plate. When it's indestructible, it's just a crappy suffix that will sort of, yeah. Ruin loot is maybe a little bit of a hard word to use, but it'll never be really good loot when it has when an item has indestructible as a suffix. So, as you can see now, I cleared the 2 first quadrants and sort of the hallway behind them. That means that all the mobs are sort of either in front of me or below me, and that means that at least my lightnings are only sort of traveling, yeah, It's actually traveling in 2 directions. Actually in 3, sorry, now 4. I'm gonna fall back a bit again, so I got this sort of cone in front of me, where all the lightnings are sort of focused. And normally these honeys here, the soul burners, that would have to take a lot of lightning damage in order to go down, but when they're getting the full sort of load of the chain lightning, they're going down way quickly. As you can see now, that a lot of the lightning will try to sort of travel down here. That's because I got a full room down there with mobs. So I'm going up a bit here. And knock knock. The Doom Guards here, they don't like lightning much, so yeah, they're going down pretty quickly. So it's not that important that you sort of have a full cleared area behind you, because they don't, yeah, they can't take that much lightning damage. So last quadrant and a bit of a hallway. So now all the lightning should go south. As you can see, they will, because all the mobs are in the last hallway here or in the last quadrant below. Nothing dropped. So it's like it becomes easier and easier to clear with chain lightning as soon as you cleared sort of the areas behind you fully. Had there been some sort of straggler in here in the quadrant that I just cleared, then some of the lightning could travel that way. There, we got a straggler. Get back in line. But even though how crappy the loot are by Lazarus and his 2 bodyguards, his 2 caster, but this guy, for instance, then if I got room, I usually pick it up. I mean, I'm never gonna use a rope or the staff or any of these axes, but it's more like to see what kind of prefix and suffix the bosses will drop. Or can drop. It's good to know. You might get lucky at some point to see, let's see, emerald, that's top prefix for resist, for instance, on shields. Just as an example, or dragon, or zodiac, or obsidian, some of those pre or suffixes. I'm just gonna start to see if I can line them up, like, but they can line themselves up. One of them. This one, she was sort of, yeah, became a straggler. Oh, yeah, I'll take the scimitar as well. Just because the soul burners, they don't drop much loot, and I think, actually now that I'm thinking of it, I think this ring did drop from a soul burner. I'm positive that it did. So it just shows that they can drop some pretty hardcore loot. And hardcore meaning good stuff in this case. But as you can see now, as the lightnings are traveling, they're all going north. You got all mobs are sort of in front of me. And the reason why I'm doing all the barrels while I'm here, it's because it has a chance. I'm pretty sure it's my own theory, but from what I've seen drop from barrels, or chests for that matter, it seems like they can drop the same loot as the mobs can at that given level, and that's why I usually always do barrels as well as chests. So we got a full clear here, guy. I'm just gonna go down to the final level, level 16, 15 now. Mana shield at the ready. I just changed my hotkeys a little bit because all I need here is Fireball and Stone Curse. I don't need Chain Lightning. Mobs are immune to it at this level on Nightmare. Just gotta have a sip of coffee before it goes cold. Oh, and I even got level. I didn't even notice, and there's a reason that I didn't notice. It's not like I'm completely sleepy, but it's because, as you can see now, it happened like a million experience ago. So, but at the last level, I'm at 211. I needed 210.6 or something like that. But as my stats are capped, I'm not getting a plus cap icon that you would usually sort of, where you would see, okay, I got my level, because I cannot get any more stats than I have now. I do, however, get my bonus, you could say, from leveling. So in the beginning, I wrote up, for safety reasons, I'm just going to remove my inventory, but I did write up my stats when I started this episode, and my hit points was at 142. So you can see from level 40 to 41, I get 1 additional hit point. My mana pool was 901, and it's 903 now, so I get 1 hit point, 2 mana points. My damage, physical damage, was 31 to 34, and as you can see, I've got 1 minimum and 1 maximum damage. And then Fireball, for instance, I'm just gonna open my spellbook here. Fireball was 532 to 767, so quite significant extra damage here, 20 extra minimum damage, for instance. Chain Lightning was 4 to 84, and as you can see, it's 4 to 86. And I noticed that last time I got a level, so yeah, I keep getting 2 extra top damage, not lower damage though, from Chain Lightning. And that's it really, that's what I wrote up. The same of, like say, for instance, the Elemental spell would be the same. It would have risen in damage, that's for sure. As you can see, actually, Fireball and Elemental, it's the same damage. Elemental costed double mana, and that has to do with like a homing missile. I don't like using Elemental, it's way too mana expensive, and it's not always that big pile here. It's not always that it's not always that it's an advantage to have actually a homing missile, you could say. Because you might hit some mobs that you're not actually wanted to hit some other mobs, and then all of a sudden you can have a bit of a little semi-dangerous or on hell difficulty lethal combination where you're sort of hitting the wrong mobs and you may actually die because you're getting surrounded, etc, etc. So it's way better to sort of control what mobs is it that you're actually shooting after. So you're making sure that the mobs you want to go down first. I think the Elemental spell, it will always sort of go after the nearest mob, but as you move and the mob move, maybe you're sort of hitting other mobs that you intended, and maybe the mob is sort of immune to fire that it's hitting because it's the closest mob. So that's a problem, you could say. Alright, back to business. So this room here, again we got 4 quadrants, just like on level 15. I'm in the secondary quadrant now, and this is usually the hardest one, I think, because it's very open. So the ranged guys, they can sort of hit me from all kind of angles. But as you can see, as the Sorcerer has sort of grown in power here, and now become level 41, or 40 when I started, then I can almost, well, I can clear at least the first 3 levels, meaning level 13, 14, 15 with just from a full sort of mana stash in my inventory. I can't clear full. Remaining mana that I have here is not enough to clear level 16 here. but I can take a good chunk of it. That's for sure. And usually here on level... Oh, nice. An amulet, interesting. Just gonna put this amulet next to... So I had the ring from a sub-boss, that's interesting, and I have an amulet from a top-tier mob, the one that... the advocate here that just dropped it. So usually I'll have... On paper, these two items should be the most interesting of all these sort of jewelry here. But yeah, usually I pick up all items that drop here, or at least most of them. Even though there's sort of the base items are crappy, let's say a leather armor or I don't know, 200x or whatever. Something that I'm not gonna use ever on the Sorcerer. But it's more like to see what the top tier mobs or sort of bosses, sub-bosses, like the ones by Lazarus on level 15 or whatever. There's always a sub-boss here on level 16 as well. He's called Sorcerer. It's a Blood Knight, like the ones I just killed there. Big pile of them here. The Blood Knights here, by the way, are top tier of these sort of knights. I met the lowest tier was Black Knights. They gave me, well, not quite the full XP amount, meaning I think they gave me like 7,700. These will surely give me 8,000. I'm not even going to show you. Actually, I should show you, because now I'm level 41, and when I'm level 41, I should get 41 times 200 experience. That means 8,200. If you add 8,200 to these numbers, you should be at 40,490. Let's test that. Doesn't matter if it's a Blood Knight or an Advocate. I'm just gonna try and see if I can kill a single mob. There we go. So I should change from, like I said, 32,290 to 40,490. And as you can see, 40,490. It'll be the same from the guy who's coming up to me. I could hear aggro at least one of these guys. So 40,490 plus 8,200. That's 48,690. 48,690. So I kind of knew that these mobs for a pretty long time yet. I can imagine they will maybe all the way to level 50. I don't know. I'm not gonna stay here. I want to do hell, of course, and there will be a ton of runs that I have to complete here on hell. But it would be an interesting comparison eventually to see if I live that long. It's still hardcore for me. If I die, I'm dead. And yeah, I'll have to start all over, which would kind of suck. Pretty low on mana, by the way, so about time to chill a bit, that's for sure. I don't know if one of these fireballs could kill me, but 2 or 3 could definitely kill me if my mana shield breaks. So 143 hit points won't get you it won't get you all that far on this level. So I think I'm pretty much out of mana. I can sort of maybe stir up the hive a little bit here. Famous last word, yes. And then of course I got an additional mana pot. So a large axe and a warhammer, yeah. You know what? I'm gonna leave these two and then just pick up the warhammer instead. So let's see what we got.
You're stop. Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen. Nothing that interesting, really. So
So on paper, these two should be sort of the highest tier. They weren't necessarily. Tiger, yeah, it's not that bad with hit points if that's what you were after. And Amulet of the Stars, not that interesting either. Yeah, it's just crap all over, really. Ring of Wizardry, I'm collecting these, and it's because, like I said on the Magic Mule, I'd like to make so that all slots have maximum possible magic. So this one has Wizardry, has from 21 to 30, I think, plus 2 magic. Maximum is 30. So for instance, 2 Ring of Wizardry with 30 magic on each slot. Yeah, that would be maximum possible magic in those slots. And I would do the same on the rest of the slots as well. For my Cunning Warrior
what can I do for you?
Rogue. I'm just gonna sell it all. Just double checking, there's nothing that I accidentally selling that I shouldn't. I'm never gonna get it back. As soon as it's sold, it's over, it's gone. Oh, not gonna repair the staff though. I got nothing to use the money on, so just for the fun, I'm just gonna blow them right away. Yeah. Let's see. That's it, and I'm gonna sell this as well. So, up to the witch to buy the only thing I really need from her in the rest of the game, including all of hell, meaning mana pots. I'm gonna sell the staff when I get up there as well.
I sense a soul in search of answers.
Well, she might have some kind of staff that I could use. Or not that I could use, but that maybe another character could. So I can't say 100% that there wouldn't be an item that was interesting. I actually bought a while back, and I think I showed it in another video. I bought a staff that gives me, I think it's almost 120 mana total. It's a dragon like this, dragon staff of wizardry. I don't have wizardry, but wizardry is up to 30 magic, so the staff is dragon's staff of wizardry, and it gives maybe like 58 mana plus 28 to magic, so that's quite a bit of a magic boost for Sorcerer. Just gonna sip my last bit of coffee, give me a second. And I'm good to go. I'm just gonna mark these 2 items, axe and sword. It's just for curiosity to see what stats it dropped. So, all 4 quadrants are clear. I don't remember if I pulled the lever here, or lever, or whatever it's pronounced. But it opens the door here on the 4th quadrant. Oh, dropped the ring behind me, and Sagorish is right in front of me. He dropped a maul. I don't really need the ring, always interesting on this level. And yeah, I got plenty of mana to sort of complete this level 16 here, so I'm just gonna drink in order to have room for the more. And the second quadrant is cleared. Oh, it's an axe. Yeah, it's a white axe, doesn't matter. That's definitely not interesting at all. So usually I would clear this map when my character wasn't that strong, by sort of going around it, luring out the melees, but now I'm just not completely tanking it, but usually I'm not sort of moving all that far away. Just gonna keep advancing here from the same direction, as I can sort of face tank all the fireballs and stuff here. Just gonna pick up this falcon here, again just for out of curiosity, for the stats. And opening the final gate to Diablo. I know my fireballs are all gonna go in this direction, opposite Diablo, so there's no danger opening into him now. So that's some kind of random fireball would sort of, yeah, activate Diablo. Not that he's that dangerous anymore here on Nightmare. I'm just gonna pick up these items while I still remember. It's all items that dropped here on level 16. So again, just to check out the stats. So, just gonna piss him off. Could hear that I hit him there, yeah. So, usually I used to sort of lure him sorry, far away. I think behind this wall is just fine. What you need to just lure him away from his usual spot if you want to clear the area where he were initially, his lair sort of. So when he gets close to me, I'm just going to teleport on the other side of this sort of lava. Come on, bro. Yeah, there we go. So, after that I'm just going to teleport north and sort of around. And then back down to the fourth quadrant here. This way I'm sure that he sort of lost my light radius. That is the thing that sort of gives aggro, is if the mobs are able, including Diablo, to see your light radius. And now I can sort of feast on the rest of his experience, feast on the rest of his mobs here. And yeah, on hell this would be a problem. I mean, you'll see it eventually, but
I cannot carry
I probably wouldn't be able to face tank that many fireballs. Even with the 75% resist fire damage, then it would hurt a lot. So we got a scroll and identify. Yeah, not that interesting really, but yeah. One of the axes here that dropped from one of the mobs down here gave 9 to all. It's a good beginner stat, you could say. So I think there was a few knights that sort of followed their master. Bingo. Yeah. So just gonna say hello to Diablo and leave him be. The spell that he's casting, by the way, is the fire thingy here, is Apocalypse. You can get the spell yourself as a staff or as a scroll, not a permanent spell like a book. It looks like small nukes. It's sort of an AoE effect. Yeah.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
So Masters is actually a pretty high sort of prefix. It's the one just below Kings for a weapon. And what's special about Masters is that it gives both to hit and plus to hit and plus damage. So it's good for melee weapons. This happens to be on a dagger, so it's not that effectful because it's the to hit is fine, but it's plus 123% of the lowest sort of base damage in the game. I think 1 to 4. But it just shows that it's a pretty high sort of prefix, the second highest that you can get. So it just goes to show that, I mean, an item that like this would never drop on, I think, caves or cathedral or the final area as well. And I'm out of money actually. Interesting. Just gotta sell some of the items that I already ID'd. There we go. 2 more items to go.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
Crappy and crappy. So 2 resist items on the weapons. You pretty much would never need
what
that.
can I do for you?
I'm just gonna repair. Can we buy something around 14k gold? Nope. So what I usually do in order to be ready for the next run, that I'm not gonna do now, is I could keep 1 stack of gold, for instance, and then I just sort of replenish my mana. So just for the record, I'm level 41. I'm at 212 million. I make around 6 million, I think 5 to 6 million experience on a full run. Let's say 6 million. No, yeah, let's say 6 million. So in order to get from 212 to 261, that's about 50 million. So it's about, I think, probably 8 runs, something like that, 9 maybe. And that's probably when I'm gonna make the next video. I can imagine after that I'm probably gonna shift to Hell. But let's see when we get there.
sense a soul
I'll make some
in search of
hell runs,
answers.
I promise. Oh. So I just sold all my mana. That wasn't intended, actually.
I sense a soul in search of
I wanted
answers.
to buy. And as you can see, by the way, you can buy the scrolls of Infravision now and then. And I've done so before, so I'm just gonna fill up my inventory with normal mana pots here. Yeah, that's it, guys. So, as usual, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, bye-bye.